Well, what you want to lead with how absence is making the Sens
Whoa! Did you
decor
just say
worse?
Eric Brent? Don't say Eric Brandstrom on this show, Ross.
Okay. Well, tell me why the Sens decor is either better or worse then.
We're not talking about Eric Brandstrom on this show. Well, I just think it's interesting because I think there's people that are really far on one side that say yes, it is better. People that are really far on the other side saying no, it's not better.
That's so
And
unlike humans.
there's people that are in the middle where I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. I realize those are the three options.
Just
But
sitting right on the fence, eh, Pills?
well, no, I'm more on the fence of no, it's not better, but it depends how you look at this, right? Like let's do the one for one. Chikrin is arguably a better defenseman than Nick Jensen. I feel like that's fair to say.
He's a much better offenseman than Nick Jensen, but how much worse is he defensively than Nick Jensen?
Exactly. That's what you got to get into. But I feel like if you just put them 1v1, most people are going to lean towards Chikrin being the better choice.
If you're drafting a fantasy draft of a team, not in terms of like, oh, we need offensive numbers. If you're drafting a team to win a championship, yes, most teams are going to take Jakob Chikrin.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think this decor has changed to fit a better fit. Like an analogy I thought of, Ross, you got a guy, he's a bachelor, he's got a sweet sports car. It's fast, it looks good, it's expensive, it's flashy. Everyone's like, damn, that's a nice car. Then he's a family man. He's got kids now. He's got a wife and kids. That coupe sports car, sure, it's cool, but is it going to work? So the Sens went from, all right, let's just get a garage full of flashy sports cars. And they're like, ah, damn, this isn't working out for us. Now let's get some minivans. Let's get some versatilities, things that we actually need that are going to help us reach our goals more properly rather than just having that flash. And I think that's where you can look at Nick Jensen being brought in. And it's like, that's the type of defenseman we needed, even though necessarily he's not a better defenseman. So that's why I thought it was an interesting debate, Ross, because I think a lot of people too are of the mind where it's like addition by subtraction, like shipping out Chikrin, shipping out Branny right there. A lot of people are like, I don't care who replaces them. We're better off because that just wasn't working. And that's a totally fair argument. Like those two players were not working in Ottawa, but did they get better or just different? That remains to be seen. Like we can discuss on paper, but will it work out better? Hopefully. And obviously, Linus Ullmark plays a huge role in this team being a better team defensively. So I wanted to mostly stick to the decor on this debate.
I think the funniest part, and it was a great breakdown, but you went with minivans. You are a pickup truck driver. Like, isn't that kind of the ultimate versatility?
I mean, if you got a family with
you got 4 doors, don't you?
Yeah, but if you got more than 3 kids, unless you're doing hillbilly style where you get them sitting in the back there. Yeah, I mean, then yeah, you got a lot of versatility if we're looking at that. But yes, okay, even fair point. Maybe the minivan isn't right for you. Maybe you need the pickup truck. So Tyler Clevin, the pickup truck.
Well, it'd be nice to have one of those auto parkades, just like the one right next to the CTC, where you can pick and choose a little bit of everything. And maybe that's what the Sens are trying to do because they're expecting Jake Sanderson to replace the offense of Jakob Chikrin. I know they were even pretty close last year, 41 to 38 points, but I think sky's the limit for Jake Sanderson. So how are you best going to insulate him so we don't have circa 2011 Erik Karlsson's ready to break out, but Philip Kuba's holding him back on his left side, right? You need to have that perfect partnership on the back end. And Nick Jensen's played with great players in the past. He's a guy who I think is going to be able to steady things out. So I think it goes back to what Dave Poulin and Steve Staios have been preaching, which is they need the internal options, the core of this team, to just get a bit better and try to use these pieces as those complementary guys who are going to make less mistakes than maybe the ones who were there in those positions before.
Yeah, and that's fair. I get that argument. The one thing, Ross, though, where I think the argument that this decor is better now totally crumbles apart, in my opinion, one injury in the top 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but we talked about last week, I think it was last Friday, if not 2 Fridays. Yeah, it was last Friday where it's like, who's left? Because the Sens should not be done. And there hasn't been much movement in the free agent market, the Kevin Shattenkirks of the world and so on and so forth, that you can still add a depth piece. And I think Ottawa needs to do that.
Yeah, I think they're just playing hardball, waiting till it gets closer to training camp. These veteran guys get desperate, and either you try to get a couple guys on PTO, see who you like, or you just say, we like this guy, let's just give him a 1-year cheap deal and see how it goes. So I don't think they're done just yet, but as of now, the decor is interesting, to say the least.
Did you see, speaking of defensemen, Jacob Bernard-Docker led all NHLers in goals from the right point this season?
With 3, yeah. Didn't we, weren't we calling that, was it Zaitsev or Zub that was scoring a bunch of goals? Yeah, we were calling that the Zaitsev zone a little while ago. So JBD learned from his mentor and was potting in pucks from the right corner. Sheesh.
Well, it's just unbelievable because, yeah, sure, it's 3, dude, but look at the other side of the ice in that spot. It's William Nylander with 3 as well. So
that's the thing. You think some power play merchant would have 4 from that spot, but I guess it's fairly deep. Like the power play one-timer guys, they're in the Kucherov and Stamkos zones.
Yeah, exactly. And even Pasternak on the wall, and Leon Draisaitl's had got the lead on 2 different zones there. Pretty impressive. But
it's
listen to all the names.
Surprising that listen there's only 3 goals from there. Like, what?
You hear the names we're ripping off here, and then Jacob Bernard-Docker just thrown right in the mix.
Yeah, true. I mean, Jacob Bernard-Docker, Drew Doughty, spot the difference.
Bo Horvat, Nick Suzuki, Philip Forsberg, Zach Hyman, Jordan Kyrou. Those are the names that are on this list with Jacob Bernard-Docker, but they're going to need, for them to be better, Jacob Bernard-Docker needs to be better. Heck, you could go, all the guys who were here last year need to be another step better than they were last season, and hopefully health is of the essence next season as well, because losing Zub to that broken jaw in November, December was just awful luck, and then
then Shabbat later on.
Right. So you never had your full complement of top 4. And when you did, you still had that we're all lefties problem, which is fixed now because you've got 2 lefties, 2 righties, very clear who's going to be in the top 4.